Gjør klart til opptak. Fluffer?
No.
Please, 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 please.
You're still playing detective. How quick?
I can assure you that I can get to the bottom of this for a never so professional fee.
Murder, missing treasure, ghosts.
9 lives, this one.
Hello, welcome to Unrestricted View Film Festival. And my name's James Wren. I'm the festival director. And today I'm joined by the fantastic Lil Warren with her film
Hello.
Hackney Dissent. Hey, well, hello, how are you doing? You're right.
Yeah, good. Lovely day. Feeling good.
Good, fantastic. So, how's lockdown been for you? Because you're a massive creative. So, has it been difficult to do stuff?
Initially, I think like most creatives, I was just in a kind of shell shock and thought, well, what's the point? No one's going to see it, no one's going to read it. I'm a theatre maker predominantly, although I do make films on the side. And I would say, along with every other creative in this country, I was very depressed for a couple of months and slept for, I think, a whole month, just stayed in bed. But once I knew it was going to be a much longer kind of lockdown, I got my kind of prison head on, if you know what I mean. And I've just been very, very productive. I've been writing a lot. I've been doing a lot of online stuff and learning loads of new skills that I really resisted learning.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to know how to make, a digital trailer for something, but I now know how to do. I now know how to do that. Yeah, I mean, I found myself a lot talking to creatives a lot online, which is really hard.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of energy. I don't know how teachers do it.
No, it's incredible, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so give us the background. How did Hackney Dissent come together? How did this project start?
Okay, so I work with a company called Unity Arts, who are based in Hackney. And for the past 10 to 12 years, they've done a lot of community research projects, mostly funded by National Lottery Heritage Fund. So we get people from our community to go out and research stuff. And predominantly our output would have been exhibitions and books and some online resources. But National Lottery Heritage Fund created a new budget line called Digital Outputs, and we thought, oh, that can be a film. So it was called Blue Circle of Dissent, and it was looking at the lives and impact of radical thinkers like Mary Wollstonecraft, who we called Hackney Heroine because she set up a school in Newington Green, which is just on off the back of Stonington there. She was born in Spitalfields. She got married in King's Cross. So I got that bit, and my colleagues took Elizabeth Montagu bit and Blue Stockings. So we were first up because there was quite a lot of time sensitivity around it, because it was her 260th anniversary the year we got the grant.
Right.
So we had to move along the ground quite quickly. So we did like loads of events, bish bash bosh. And Hackney Dissent, the film, Dr. Johnson's and stuff, that was after a week-long set of workshops working out of Hoxton Hall and a couple of pub theatres in Hoxton Street there. And those workshops were with adults, and some of the projects were with children, but that was a separate output, as they say. And this film was a result of a week-long set of workshops and visits to Dr. Johnson's house, with the slam poet Joelle Taylor led the workshops. And we had poets from all over the place, all over from various parts of our community. And I think the poets initially were a little bit reticent. Not all of the poets wanted to be in the film, and that's fair enough. Because poetry works on such a deep level, James. And I say in the film, I'm a playwright, and I participated in those workshops, and I found them very stretching. I found them quite uncomfortable, and I was astounded by the bravery of the people taking part. They were really honest and open. So I think that's why in the film we got such a lovely result, is that we'd spent a week with these people. We didn't like helicopter in and interview them cold.
Yeah.
They knew us, we knew them. It was way more a two-way street, way more collaborative. And I think it helped as well, because Neil Webster, who was the editor and he did the grade, and my brother, I think, was on second camera, James Warren, they were part of it. So it wasn't a them and us, you know, like sometimes there's this kind of them and us, and we weren't being voyeuristic because I was in it as well. So it felt much more of an exchange, a fair exchange, and they're all very happy with the result. The people that were in it, they thought it was a really good representation of their work and how slam poetry works and how powerful a tool poetry is for political dissent.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So tell us, how did you get Joelle Taylor involved? Because she's quite an excellent slam poet.
She's the best,
and
a very, very busy woman. What had happened, I'd been to see, I think it was University of Warwick or somewhere like that. They were putting on work by ex-offenders. They'd got some money, and Joelle presented a talk and a piece. And I was just stunned. It was like that, you know, that feeling you get when you listen to Aretha Franklin and you go all cold and you feel like every pore in your body is open. I was astounded by her, and I had a little chat with her afterwards. Nothing, just, you know, a bit worshipy, maybe, a bit stalkery. But then I wrote a musical called Oranges and Elephants that was put on at Hoxton Hall. And it was about female gangs in Victorian times. So I suggested that Joelle did some workshops with some young women that were vulnerable to gang recruitment, and how easy that can be if you're poor and haven't got a settled home life, you know, the usual story that goes with women being recruited as basically lookouts, sex toys and all of that. She's very knowledgeable about that process. And so therefore we formed quite a tight creative bond. So when we came to do Hackney Dissent, it was a no-brainer. And what was brilliant about Joelle is that we had to change the workshops to the evenings. We even worked that bank holiday Monday in May, because during the day she was doing workshops at Pentonville Prison. Right. She was knackered. I think you can tell in the you can tell in the film poor Joelle was absolutely exhausted. But that's how she got involved.
All right, fantastic. So I mean, so do you think dissent is vital in art?
Yeah. Sorry, that was an answer that was an answer you didn't want, wasn't it? Yeah. I think, well, from a background, my background is comedy.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of stand-up when I was younger. So I think like our philosophers at the moment are people like Frankie Boyle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think art, because it doesn't only engage with the intellect. And I think in order to make any change, you have to engage with the intellect, but you also have to engage with the conscience, the soul, the fire, the passion. And I think art, that's why people, I think, can be uncomfortable, is that art kind of opens up your chest to receive change.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts anyway. I mean, strange you should say that. So behind me, out of Hackney Dissent, this is a piece of work that was in an exhibition called Vindication.
Right.
One of the poets did this. Yeah. So Mary Wollstonecraft, who, you know, was around 260 years ago, is still having an impact on us today. And as I don't know if anyone knows, but her first memorial to her is in Newington Green, which caused a lot of furore and hullabaloo at the time in November. But everyone's calmed down a bit now.
Yeah, yeah. So, so what's next for you then? So we're kind of, the light's at the end of the tunnel. We can get out soon, hopefully, properly. What are your plans? Have you got anything in the fire?
Yeah, actually, I like site-specific work. So we've done a couple of things, like we did Hand of the Baskervilles live version at Abney Park, and they've just contacted us to work on something. We don't know how or what form, but because we've got loads of ideas, they've at least got a choice to do some live outside work, which is possibly safest at the moment for the actors and the audience, I think. Because in this rush to get back, we have to take care of our actors as well.
Yes.
I think sometimes that's kind of left out of the numbers. So I've got that coming up. I'm working on a couple of TV projects as well. And I'm hoping to film, maybe even be on at the Camden Fringe, I don't know yet. I'm hoping to film a show I did in Edinburgh called Sport is War. But I'll see if I've got the legs for that. Initially in lockdown, we tried to make it 3 times, James.
Yeah.
And it kept, you know, the rules kept changing. And I wanted to shoot it in one take, you know, so it was as live as possible.
Yeah.
No edits and all that. The filmmaker was appalled. What? No edits? I went, no, I want you on a handheld. He went, for half an hour. So I'm looking at making that a proper film now, rather than just a film of me in a space, and to do it if the Olympics go on, because it's very Olympics driven. So that's kind of what's coming up over the next few months. Next year, who knows? Freelancers, who knows?
Fantastic. All right, one final question, which I always like to ask because it's interesting, although it's quite a difficult question to answer. If whoever it may be, directors, writers, poets, actors, is there anyone in particular who truly inspires you? I know it's a toughie, isn't it?
I would say, this is a strange answer, I would say Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. Well, I can understand why, but yeah, that's I wasn't expecting that, but yeah.
I loved him as a kid. He changed my worldview, and because when I was researching Sport is War, actually, I know I would never get in a boxing ring, but a lot of the mental and physical and emotional processes are very the same as fighters. And I think he said, kindness is your rent that you pay for being in this world. And
it's a great quote,
isn't it?
Yeah.
And also, you know, again, another one's dancers. Have you come from dance, James? I know your background's theatre. No, I could say my dance teacher at theatre school wasn't tremendously complimentary about my dance. Well, it's the train, you know, you train when you don't want to train. And I think that's true of every creative, but specifically boxers, of people that fight, and dancers and movement specialists. So that was just off the top of my head. If I'd had more time to think about that, there's a whole list.
I think that's a great answer, because I mean, I would say he's someone who's inspired me as well. I think it's just, as you say, it's just the sheer humanity of the man, you know, when, you know, giving where it come from, you know, that growth in self-knowledge and knowledge of the world around him was extraordinary. And you know, and
he was a genius in every level. I think that's what it was. He was a poet, he was a philosopher, he was a showman, he was a clown, and you know, an unbelievable athlete. No,
absolutely.
I mean, if I'd have been clever, I would have said obviously Akira Kurosawa, but you'll have to take my first answer. I love Japanese films.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for chatting to us today, Lil. You can see Hackney Dissent as part of the compilation of documentary shorts called Documentary Shorts 2, and that's on Sunday the 2nd of May. You can get tickets at unrestrictedview.co.uk or uvff.co.uk. Thanks again, Lil, and we'll speak to you soon. Take care.
Pleasure.